Uh, but I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'll take you through systematically a few things with regards to financial advising, what we do, what are the things that you need to look at, and then I'll finish off with a round off of the stimulus package going through. Whilst Carol has sent me a question, I will need to respond to some of those questions in writing, purely because, and this is a disclaimer I need to put up right up front, please. Nothing that I tell you today should be construed as advice. As per legislation, we need to give that to you in writing. Otherwise, the ramifications are pretty grim for us. So please excuse me if at times I defer a question. It's not because I don't have the knowledge, it's just that my hands may be tied. So I will need to write them to you, to the extent that even every newsletter that we send out has to be compliance tested before we send it out. So that's the kind of framework that we are working around. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Just a second.
Now, I'll say something while you're doing this, because it always takes a little while to share a thing. Oh, where's she gone? Hang on. I've lost it now. I was going to say, where are we? Here it is. Sam's going to be leaving in about 8 minutes, okay? So she has just one quick question.
Go for it, Sam.
Before she goes. So I thought we'd just jump in quickly with Sam's question. Sam, you've got here a question for Cindy around stability to renovate our home and financing to do so.
Sorry, I'll elaborate on that. I was trying to type with my fat finger on my phone. But I guess we were already, like obviously before COVID, we'd been saving, we'd been consolidating, doing a whole lot of stuff to plan to renovate our home. And now, with some pre-approvals in place, we're kind of really skeptical about security, what that's going to look like. I think what the market's going to do. There's been mixed information about housing, the impact of people not being able to come into the country. So I didn't know if you had any views, or, obviously not professional, like, as you just described by your disclaimer, but things to consider.
Yes, Sam, we do have extensive resources on our website, especially in the resources section. I would urge you to please go and have a look at that as well. And if you can spend the next 8 to 10 minutes just looking at this, what I'm going to show you in half a tick, then that probably will guide you as to the direction that you should be taking. I've got Desh sitting next to me who deals with the investment angle of our business, and I will bring him in on a need-to basis if and when I need to. So just bear with me for half a tick.
Thanks, Sue. Thanks, Cindy.
Okay. Can everybody see this timeline? Yep. Consider this. We all live from 0 to 90 plus these days, thanks to life expectancy. COVID has thrown a curveball in all of that, but all the same, people from the ages of 0 to 20 spend predominantly most of their time at home being looked after by the parents. So the responsibilities are very few. Between 20 and 30, I did put down young, restless, and demanding, and that gave me a giggle. But this is the time when people are making the most important decisions in their lives with regards to the jobs the profession that they're going to go into, and also the partners that they may be wanting to spend most of their life ahead with. It's such an important time to get your stability in life and how you want to go ahead. This is also the time when parents or people that we give advice to, that they tend to send their children to us to say, can you please start them off on the right track? Because they must start good saving habits. They must get a handle on debt, and they must, and I think I've said this a few times, please, get them to put basic total and permanent disability insurance cover and income protection through their super. Then they will not impact on their parents' assets. And that puts a moat around the parents' assets. And as such, the parents can retire without having this thing on their heads that, God forbid, something happens to my child, my assets will have to go towards funding my child. And there are real life cases where parents have had to do that. Then comes the age of 30 to 65. And in my head, this is the pressure cooker years. Why? Most people have got a mortgage, have got a job that they're trying to retain, and also they've got stresses with regards to marital stresses, job stresses, mortgage stresses, paying the kids, paying for everything. And it just kind of culminates in all sorts of issues. There can be divorces. We find a lot of divorces around 40 to 55. Critical illnesses, think about it. How many people do you know who suffer from cancer or stroke or any of these critical illnesses? Think about their ages. You'll find 90% of them would fall within this age bracket. So get the insurances in place early, fix the level of premiums so that they don't go up with your age, and you will save a substantial amount of money right through. Get into habits of budgeting, pay down the home as quickly as possible, because what you're coming to is then the retirement age. And during retirement, you've got 3 distinct phases. Between 65 and 75, give or take, is the time when people like to travel. They like to do a lot in their lives. So it's a very active time in a person's life. And that all comes with high expenses. 75 to 85, in our experience, usually is people whose health has started declining. They have become more passive in their expenses. But 85 plus is when the frail years start. And in our experience, that's the time when the medical bills start to ramp up and people require a substantial amount of their savings to fund those frail years. So this is the timeline of life, what you need to do through each of the phases to be able to lead your life with the minimal of financial stress, and be able to get through by making the right decisions. And if you look at the 3 boxes right at the bottom, you'll notice that typically you earn an income in the first box, you pay taxes, you service your debt, and that funds your lifestyle as well. And as your savings start to increase, you'll notice that the debt has been paid down and your assets and your income, less taxes, is funding your lifestyle. The last box is what we call retirement, where your assets are funding your lifestyle so that even when you sleep at night, your assets are making money and essentially funding your lifestyle. Any questions on this timeline of life? No? Okay. Nope. Please keep this timeline in your mind, because I'm going to leave it on the screen right now and I'm going to take you through some case studies. And these are real life case studies where we have helped people out. And I'll start with the first segment of the timeline. This person was age 27. He came to us. By the way, his father sent him to us because we advised the parents. His income was 57K. He was living on his own. And his goals, when we asked him, said he wanted to save 10,000 for a holiday, buy a car, and at some stage in the future, buy a property. So what we did for him, we showed him or put a dollar value against each of his goals and the timeline on how he could achieve them. We gave him budgeting strategies for the short, medium, and long term, and made them workable, and we made him accountable. We modulated his behavior around money and spending. We ensured his investments inside super were appropriate, and we gave him total and permanent disability, income protection inside super and trauma outside super with level premiums. The cost typically, to give you an example, at his age for 185,000 of trauma cover, he would pay $600 per annum. Okay, and that's fixed. A person who's 55 would pay $3,000 per annum. You see the difference. So the earlier you fix the cover, the cheaper the policy. So we guided him on getting his wills, powers of attorney done, essentially putting all his ducks in a row. Let's go to the second section. This is a case study of a person aged 42. She had savings of 300,000 and she had an income of 180,000. Her goal was to buy a house. And so she came to us and asked Cindy and Desh, how much should I spend on the house? Now she's got an income of 180 and savings of 300. Typically, what would most people say? $1 million, $1.5 million, maybe 1.2. No, we asked her to, but before I go to that, she also had a goal of a retirement income of 40K every year. So for 30 years, that would amount to about $900,000. Future value at historical inflation rate would be about, she would need about 1.5 million in her super fund to fund her retirement, over and above a fully paid home. So what we suggested to her was, don't spend more than 800,000 on buying a home. Between 700,000 and 800,000, you'll be able to pay it off in 10 years, and you can also max the contribution into super every year. She did that. She spent 750,000, and we also recommended total and permanent disability cover, income protection, and trauma. We gave her zero life cover. Why? Because she has no dependents, so that would save her money. So we only gave her TPD, IP, and trauma. By the way, 18 months after we gave her the advice, she bought the home, she lost her job. Well, that's another story altogether. Let me come to the third case study. Lady who was heading into retirement. She came to us 8 years ago. She's still our client today. At that time, she was 64. She had a meager $55,000 in her super fund. She had 250,000 savings outside, an investment property valued at $500,000, and a fully paid home valued at $1 million. Today, under our guidance, this is her position. She's 72, 720,000 in her super. She's got 150,000 savings outside. Her home is now valued at 1.9 mil. She has a new car and she's a self-funded retiree. So it's all about putting strategies in place, making sure that your goals are workable. So those are the three case studies with this life stages. And I'm going to move on to very quickly a flyer of what we do. And I'm going to leave this on screen for you to have a look at it while I just take you through the COVID-19 issue stimulus packages that everybody wants to know about. I would strongly urge you to please have a look at the diary notes on our website. There are two articles there. There is part 1 of the COVID-19 stimulus package, and there is part 2. It tells you in detail and very succinctly as well as to what the stimulus packages are. But there are two distinct stimulus packages which we've all been talking about. One is Job Seeker and one is Job Keeper. I'll go through the Job Seeker first. You will get how much? You will get $1,100 per fortnight, or you will get $550 above the current payment, rental assistance, an energy supplement, pharmaceutical allowance, and family tax benefits. Who pays this? Centrelink. This is payable from the 27th of April this year. And what are the qualifications? If it's a single person with no children, you must earn less than $1,086.50 per fortnight. If you are partnered, you must earn less than $993.50 per fortnight. Partner earns less than $79,762 per annum. There is no assets test for 6 months. There is no waiting period till the 12th of June this year. To claim this, you need to set up a MyGov account. You need to verify your identity with a 100-point check. You need to get a link to the Centrelink account. Now, I'm going to go through in a similar way with the JobKeeper. It's a flat $1,500 per fortnight payment made by the ATO, and it is payable from the 30th of May 2020. People who qualify, or businesses who qualify, are those that have a turnover of less than $1 billion and which has dropped by 30% in a specified period. Sorry, I'm sorry, did I say 30th of May? It is payable from the 30th of March. I beg your pardon. More than those businesses where it's more than 1 billion, the turnover drops by 50%, and it's a specified period. People who are paid, or the employees that are eligible, are full-time, part-time, and casuals. Only those casuals who have been employed on a consistent basis for more than 12 months by a business. They must have correct visa eligibility. If you're a temporary resident, holiday visa holders are not eligible. And if you're self-employed, you must have an ABN and a TFN. Register with the ATO and provide a monthly update. I said this last week when we had our mini meet. I stress it again today. Please make it easy for yourself and go to your accountant. The accountant has access to the ATO portal. And if you have worked out all your numbers and you've got your tax returns done, please work with your accountant. They'll do this in a matter of minutes because they just enter everything through the portal. Okay, so for those of you who may not have an accountant, please, Odana is part of Inspiring Women. Speak to Odana, she'll guide you through it, okay? Some of the accountants that we know have literally thrown their hands up and said, no more referrals, please. We are snowed under with this JobKeeper and JobSeeker thing, JobKeeper thing. So please go to your accountant and list their help. And the reason I say this is that if you are trying to do this yourself and you make an error, you will come onto the ATO's radar and they will audit you. If you go through your accountant, that audit process becomes almost non-existent. If the ATO finds an error, they will claw back the amount that they may have paid you in error, and they will charge you an interest on top of that. So please be wary of that. Nobody wants a clawback at this point in time, especially when you've spent the money and you don't know where to get it from. Okay, coming down to one-off cash payments, approximately 6.5 million income support recipients will receive a one-off payment of $750. To be eligible, the person needs to be residing in Australia, receiving an eligible payment from the Commonwealth, and these include age.
Cindy, just a very quick question before, because you're on a roll. Carol just quickly asked, is that audit for JobSeeker as well?
No, JobSeeker goes through Centrelink. So that audit doesn't work for JobSeeker, but for JobKeeper, you're getting it from the ATO. Am I right, Desh?
No. Centrelink can audit you later.
Centrelink can audit you later if you have not claimed correctly. And you do know that Centrelink does clawback stuff. That has been in the news.
Yep.
Have I answered your question?
Yeah. Is that okay, Carol? Give me a nod. Thumbs up.
Carol?
Yep, she says fine, and Leonie is saying the ATO has a backlog of people who have stuffed up the application.
Yes, so there's an interest cost once they do.
No. Sorry,
Desh
Sue,
wants to weigh in on this. So
no,
there
Sue.
you go.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Just be very careful because it's a very gray area, JobKeeper. Everyone says they know about it. And that's why whenever someone comes to us, we say, speak to your accountant. Why? Because then it's the ATO is talking to one person and they're not talking to individuals because they want to see whether the accountant has done the right thing, not only by you, but 20 other people. So then they'll work with the accountant and streamline all the other jobs that they may have gone wrong.
Okay, Dash, I'll go to this from a different angle because I'm in a massive Facebook group for sole traders. And the most common question about why didn't I get job keepers when they ring up the ATO and they ring them up 5 or 6 times finding out where their payment is because the person who has put in the application has made a mistake. And
Yes.
so then they go back to the end of the queue coming
Yes.
through again. That seems to be the cycle, and I can totally understand that if it had gone through an accountant in the first place, they wouldn't have had more than likely a problem. But Leonie's just saying here that I put myself as an employee and was going to get 2 payments. Now they have to reverse the payment. So yeah, she's stuffed up the way that she entered it, and it's very common. I can't tell you, it does my head in when I go into that Facebook group because a lot of the people who haven't got their payments now hadn't quite filled it in right yet.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
Hang on, Dash, hang on. Except for Anna, when I saw a comment from you, Anna, you said you hadn't stuffed it up. Okay, silent. Sorry, keep going, Dash.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. A couple we know very well, they have a company and the lady, she does a business on the side and she has an ABN. So they, under the rules, as a company, the two directors, only one director can be paid. But when they went to the accountant told the lady that she, having an ABN for a separate business, she could come under the sole trader. So both are collecting the $3,000. So that gives you an example of how going to the accountant, they were able to get an extra $3,000 if they had gone and done that.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So for people who have companies, only one director, partnership, only one partner, and trust, only one member of the trust organization.
Okay, so Carol has a question here. I only got verified by Centrelink and thought that was it. So you were saying for job seeker, we need to link to Centrelink. How do you do that? We are with MyGov and verified Centrelink. So where to now?
Go onto the Centrelink website. That's the best way to do it. Unless you want to stand in line outside Centrelink, that's the only way. You have to go through the process on the website.
Okay, I'm getting a nod and a thumbs up.
Great.
Okay, hang on a second. We've got more questions coming in. Anna's saying to everyone, you have to connect to connect ATO to Centrelink. And you're right. Oh, hang on. You're now saying, Anna, you're now saying to MyGov.
Sorry?
All right.
That's exactly what I said.
Yep.
That's exactly what I said, guys. To claim the job seeker, set up a MyGov account, verify your identity, and get a link to the Centrelink account, and then go to Centrelink. Now, in our experience, we have a client who's gone to the Chatswood Centrelink offices, and this was before COVID broke. She's on an age pension. Both the twin sisters are. And the Chatswood Centrelink office gave her such a runaround and a brush off that she said, dash this. And she went to, I think it was Hornsby or Virunga, She went there and they were so helpful. So if you come up against a barrier with one of the Centrelink offices, please try another one. In our experience, that would work. Okay?
Okay,
Don't
so
just take one office's, lack of interest as the be all and end all.
mm.
Okay.
So in the chat box here, Leonie's talking about getting the CRN number. So of course, for a lot of people who've never been to Centrelink, that might be the first time they have to apply for a CRN number.
Yes.
Carol is saying we're a company one director and going for job seeker. Is that right? So I suspect that's not right.
No.
Keeper.
You will apply for job keeper, and if there are two directors, only one person will get it. And the reason for that is job keeper is a larger payment than the job seeker. So that should be your first port of call.
The other person can apply for job seeker. Try their luck. They may get it, they may not. Because you can't get both. One person cannot get both. So if there are two directors and they're under hardship, one person can go for the job keeper and the other person can apply for job seeker. And as I say again, don't know if you'll get it.
Okay, so Karen's writing she's dropped 20%. Is that enough?
Not good enough. Not
It
good
needs
enough.
to
Has
drop
to be
30%, doesn't
It
it?
has to be 30%.
From the
So-
same time last year.
Yeah, you may want to defer your, yeah.
But this month might be more.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
So for me, it was my first quarter was the same as last quarter, but for 2 weeks in April, I dropped 98%. So it was just 1 2-week period I had to prove, and then I get it for the 6 months. So I've paid my staff. I've got the job keeper back. I've just done another pay run today so that I can just keep paying them. So maybe it's just 2 weeks, Carol, where you got to prove. You don't have to prove it again. It's my understanding. I just had to prove it for 2 weeks. Any 2 weeks.
Yeah, as I'm saying, please work with your accountant on this. They'll have the numbers for you. Please work with your accountant.
And my understanding is if you've got invoices coming in, just get them not to pay them so that you've got a 2 weeks that has dropped by at least 30%. Would that be fair call?
Cindy will not say yes to that, but that is a very fair call, Karen. All right, let me be the in between there.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's ways and means for everything, okay?
But can I just ask, why, if they're a company and they both get a wage out of their company, why can't they both get JobKeeper? Because that's what we're all doing.
You have to have PAYG. You have to, again, it's between your bookkeeper and your accountant. If you have I mean, are you getting a director's fees or you're getting a salary?
No, I get a wage.
In that case, your accountant should be able to help you, both of you.
That's what I'm saying. I've got it because I get a wage in my company.
Then both of you will get it. Yes. I'm talking about people who are running companies with director's fees.
Oh, okay. No, I don't.
Yeah.
My company's a bit lousy like that.
Yeah.
So if you get a wage, yes, then all the people who are on the payroll will get it. But if the directors are taking a director's fees only, then only one director will get it. Partnerships, one partner will get it. Trusts, one trustee will get it of the two. And that's how it really works.
One more thing. Bookkeepers can also help, but most of them do not have access to a portal. So bookkeepers are very good. A lot of bookkeepers doing a very good job on this also. So, but as I said, it's an accounting area, it's a tax law area. Best way to go through is with an accountant because they have a relationship with the ATO, which is better than yours.
Okay, so we've got 2 accountants that are part of Inspiring Women, and I'll put in our Facebook group their contact details. So one's Odana, which most of you have met. She is not on Facebook. So I'll put her contact details in. And the other one is Lydia, who is on Facebook, but never comes to anything because she's amazing. So she's always very busy, but I noticed that for the first time in ever, she came on and answered a few of your questions. So I'm gathering that both of them will help in whichever way you want. Okay. Because Lydia's an amazing lady too. I've got to drag her out one day and actually put a face to her name.
Okay. Does anybody want to know about one-off cash payments to all the Centrelink recipients? No? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
We've got a yes. You can
Okay.
use your reaction button. Look at
I
that.
got
Yes.
mine.
Okay. To be eligible, the person needs to be residing in Australia, receiving an eligible payment from the Commonwealth. These include the aged pension, veterans, disability pensions, carer payments, ab study, Aus study payments, New Start, youth, farm household allowances, family tax benefits. People who hold a pension, a concession card, a Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, or a Veteran Gold Card will also be eligible. And the amount of payment is a one-off payment of $750. Okay? And
Okay.
that's
In the chat function, Carol asked, so when does the second one come?
they pay it every fortnight, $1,500, no?
For what are you talking?
JobKeeper,
JobKeeper, yes.
every fortnight.
No, isn't JobKeeper once a month?
No.
I mean your report once a month, but the payment comes in every fortnight.
That's right. It comes in once a fortnight. They have, I think, paid a month's worth in arrears. Am I right? And
Yes.
that's why people got two payments.
Sue, there's a gray area which Karen alluded to, that she has mentioned she's given a period of 2 weeks and that's it. And as long as her business is viable
And
or insolvent, she'll continue to get paid. So so many people are thinking that you have to report that 30% every month. We are not sure. But the aim is, I don't think so. The government's idea is that if a business picks up, say, because of JobKeeper, picks up in the month of June, that does not mean they'll cut you off for the rest of the time. So according to what we have heard is, and what we have been told, is that once you have met the test, you'll get paid for the 6 months, and that's it. You will not be tested again. Karen, you got your hand up.
I do. You have to keep going with payroll, so you have to push it through, and they pay it once because of STP. So if you don't do your payroll, you're not going to get it. So
That's correct.
Pay them, and it goes on the STP report, and then you get paid back.
Yes.
If you don't pay them, you're not going to automatically get it.
Yep, agreed.
And then the other thing that I've noticed is because I get a wage, I've got to pay super, but because the others are casual, and the whole thing for them is JobKeeper, I don't have to pay super on theirs because it's not a normal wage for them, but I have to pay the super on my normal portion.
Yes. Karen, if you talk to 3 accountants, the 3 will come across with 3 different manners. So we can quote them, but that's not a good idea. So we are not putting any information there which will contradict any accountant you might go to. So that's the reason why we're keeping quiet in many of the points.
Okay, well, I've been through it all with my accountant. I've got a great accountant, and he was right on it. But that's what I know is truth now, is that the super is what you pay, and then workers' comp is still based on my wage, but their wages of 15 doesn't count for go into the workers' comp. So it's going to be interesting at the other end of the year when we're reviewing our workers' comp for the year.
Okay, there's one area that we are looking after, which we are not pushing or we are not advertising, and that's the $20,000 which the government has said you can draw from super. The $10,000 in this quarter, that means by June, and then $10,000 after that. Anyone can draw that down at any age if you have that money in the super fund. Why aren't we pushing it? Unless it's absolutely dire. I mean, you have no food on the table, that kind of scenario. You have done your job seeker, you've done JobKeeper, then yes. But otherwise, all you're doing is eating tomorrow's money today, if you take the $20,000 out. So yes, we can do a plan, we'll get paid for it, and we tick all the boxes, you get your $20,000, we get paid, but we are not encouraging that, okay? So that's why Cindy did not mention it, because she wanted to mention it and I said, no, leave it. But then she was giving me a look and so I said, okay.
It erodes your savings and really it pays for a tax-free pension in retirement. I mean, why the heck would you take money out of super, right? So, yeah, that's all.
Okay, Leonie has said, I think you have to report any income. Unless I'm wrong, I have already done it from April, except for anyone that doesn't use a payroll. I don't have a payroll. I think it just comes to my account.
Okay, we'll run with that. Yep.
Is that okay?
Yep.
We'll go with that, yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Please
Okay.
please do get onto my website. It's alphaadvisors.com.au. And alpha is spelled ALPHA-ADVISERS. Please get onto the website. You'll be amazed at the amount of resources that are there. They're absolutely free. They're for your benefit. Please read through them. And if you need any assistance with tracking any information, just give me a buzz and I'm happy to guide you through and just show you where things are located. They're in layperson's language. There's no jargon.
Okay, I've put the website in our private group for our members, but I'll also post it up on our public Facebook page as well for those of our group here who aren't actually members anymore. Yep.
Yeah, it's alphaadvisors.com.au.
Yep, I found it. It's up.
Great. And if you want to get a weekly article and a monthly newsletter, just please feel free to subscribe and we'll add you to the mailing list.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone got, because we're on the last 2 minutes now, has anyone got any other questions? Oh, hang on, Sean.
Is that including the job? That is for the JobKeeper payment, Shan. That's what we were talking about.
What do you mean? Is that including the JobKeeper payment?
This.
Oh, am I right?
Well, because I'm already over 70, I went for the JobKeeper application, but they said I won't get anything because I'm over 70, I get my pension.
Possible. Possible.
So
Yes.
there we go.
Okay.
And
so
you get a one-off payment of 750.
Already got that one, yes.
yeah, there's a second
yes.
one coming for you, Marie. There's a second one coming. I think it's around July.
Is it?
750. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
thinking it's
Is it
only one
that?
off. That's
No,
nice.
it's 2 of them. So Leonie's asked, hang on. So Sean continued on asking, does receiving the payment mean your income has gone up? I suppose
Yes.
when you're reporting your income?
Yes.
Yes. So you got to
Yes.
report that?
Yes.
It's
It
the
is
JobKeeper-
taxable.
So
the
Leonie's
JobKeeper is taxable.
Leonie's actually saying exactly the opposite. She's asked
Oh.
the ATO that and they're saying you don't report it.
Accountants everyone has told us it's taxable income.
It is taxable income. So go
So
figure. You need to report it if it is taxable.
If the ATO is saying that you don't need to report it, that means they have it on their portal that they have given it to you. So they will raise a debit on you for the tax. So it will come part of it. We are 100% sure of that. Don't need to go to an accountant for that.
I had to take the tax out of the $1,500, so my girls got $1,308 in their hand.
That's right. Yes. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to pay their tax out of that $1,500 for their wage.
Shan, please speak to your accountant for this because there are ways of managing that.
Depends on your tax bracket.
Leonie, it depends on your tax bracket, how much you have to put aside. One needs to see your full income and, to determine how much tax you'd be paid. And then what strategies do you put in place to mitigate that tax? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat questions and
That's
responding to them.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm just putting you up.
Guys, I hope that was helpful today.
Okay.
All done?
All done, I think. Thank you very much, Cindy and Dash.
It's a pleasure.
You've been wonderful in answering our questions. You're already getting lots of thank yous, which is wonderful. And I think what we should also all do is give them some thank you hands to say thank you. Well done. Have a wonderful day, ladies, and stay tuned for our next meeting. Hope this worked well for everyone.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Cindy, I sent you a message.
Thank you very much.
Not on
Okay.
here. Through your website.
Have a great day,
Oh, great.
ladies. Bye.
Which website? Which website, Karen?
Your website. I just said it as an inquiry.
Work?
Your Alpha one. Your website.
good.
But
Okay.
I'm available till midday-ish. So anyway, you'll see it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Anna, call me if you need anything, okay?